Well, you got to understand something about agreement. The Bible talks about it a lot, but it's just something that's just universally true. Whenever you have agreement, there's power in agreement.
Yes.
We're going to say that a lot, but it's true. There is power when you are in agreement about anything. You ever been in school and worked on a group project? There's chaos when people don't agree,
Yep.
but there is, when there's agreement, things work. That's why governments that work. They get a constitution that they can agree on. Everyone sticks to that, and we're in agreement. And as long as everyone is in agreement and stays bound by these boundaries, by these rules that we've agreed to, then we can have success. Success does not come when everybody's going their own separate direction. Success comes when everyone's in agreement about the direction we're going, and then you can do that perfectly. You can do that successfully. I think agreement is good because when you know what your goals are, if someone starts getting off track, you know how to correct them. But if there is no rule, if there is no law, no rules of action of how we're going to engage this thing, if you're getting off, how do I know you're getting off?
Well,
How do you know
I
you're
think
getting off?
agreement is very important because it focuses your energy.
Exactly.
And think about, in a marriage, our attempt is to be one about something.
Yep.
But if you're split going one direction, if I'm split going in one direction, then our energies are diffused
Yep.
and it's weakened. But when we are together on something, both of our energies come together and make one energy that's strong and powerful and able to conquer or overcome whatever
Yeah.
we're dealing with. So that's why agreement is so important. And the power of agreement between married people,
Yep.
it is so powerful. I mean, it is like the most powerful
Union.
force and union that God ever created. So it's very imperative that you seek agreement in your relationship, no matter what it is. If there's not anything in a married relationship that should be handled out of agreement,
Yeah.
because you're going to run into problems. And
Yeah.
we're going to share just a few things that we dealt with in our
Yeah.
first year of marriage, and I can tell you, being in agreement is way better.
Yeah.
And we're actually getting the results that we initially wanted in the beginning, but we was not in agreement. And I
Yeah.
can talk about my side. There was a lot of things that I was not in agreement with,
Yeah.
but I was just trying to be textbook wife. You know what I mean? I'm going to go along with your ideas and stuff like that. And I didn't want to... in my mind, I was thinking about you. I was saying, I don't want to make you feel like I'm always coming against what you're doing, whatever. But I was just kind of going along with a lot of things. And they weren't bad things, but I just wasn't in agreement with them.
See, I'm the type of husband that I go into prayer and come out and be like, the Lord said we
Yes.
need to do this. And look, it's kind of hard, if you're trying to be a good wife, to say, I don't think the Lord told you that. I
Exactly.
think you may have missed that one.
And it's
kind
like,
of difficult to say
I'm going
that,
to tell you
know?
right now, I almost got to the point when we first got married that I used to hate it when he would come home from work or from his prayer time, whatever, and he would tell me, the Lord said, he'd be like, the Lord said one more thing. One more thing, God. And it was like, well, why the Lord ain't speaking to me about this? Like, why am I not feeling this? So, me, like I said, trying to be textbook wife and wanting him to be the head of the household. And I just believe that, God speaks to him differently. And maybe God does speak to you differently about things. But God speaks to me too. Like, God will speak to the wife too, because he understands that we're supposed to be in agreement. Even if God don't give me the direct direction about something, he will give me confirmation in my spirit that this is where we're supposed to be doing, so that I can come in agreement, because God understands agreement is important for us to move forward.
What I had to learn was that the way God spoke to me when I was single was different from the way he spoke to me after we got married. See, God understood that I was married. Like, he's
Yeah.
aware of these things. Like, I stopped looking at God as if he does not have a personality or he's not a real person. Like, he's just some energy, some force. He's a person, and he's intelligent. And so he was aware. He's the one that orchestrated our marriage. And so what I began to realize was that the way he talked to me was different. One thing was, just practically, and it's kind of a little fun tidbit, I don't have to spend as much time with him anymore to get revelation as I used to, because now I got to divide some of that time to spend with her. And he understands that. So now I get stuff a little bit quicker now when I'm praying, or I get it spread out in different ways. I don't have to spend many hours. I would spend hours in prayer and study. I can't do that anymore. I'm married now. Apostle Paul talked about that. You got to spend time with your spouse.
Yes.
But he began to talk to me differently. He began to talk to me about her more. He began to give me things, and then it would be like, there'd be a cap where he would stop talking and then be like, now you got to go talk to your wife and get an agreement about this. Like, I've gotten so much better at it now. There's some things that he'll talk to me about that I won't bring up immediately. I'll just keep meditating it until he gives me a fuller picture. Because I would get like the first step or something, then I'll go to her about it. Let's do this.
And scare me.
Exactly. And it wasn't a fulfilled thought. It was like one piece of the image, one piece of the puzzle, but not the full thing. And so now I've learned to wait and say, all right, Lord says do this. Let me wait. Let me come back tomorrow and pray again. And not like about that to get to see, hey, were you right about that, God? But just to listen for the full picture. And what I've begun to do is meditate things and gestate things. He gives me a fuller image. And then if I let him finish, sometimes like you hear something, you run off. If I let him finish, then I realize, okay, you maybe show me this big picture, but you only want me to do this first step. And a lot of times, I would say 100% of the time, he's not going to give me the entire thing, because what would she be here for if she wasn't supposed to be contributing to this? And that's one thing you got to understand. God's going to speak to both of you. And so you got to communicate about the things that God's talking to you about, not from a standpoint of the Lord told me to do this and you better do it with me, but from a standpoint of, I think this is what I'm hearing from God. Tell me what you think about that. What do you see? Because you got to practice communicating with your spouse as if you're both God-hearing people. That's you got to practice that. And if you have a spouse who's kind of lagging behind and hearing from God, that'll actually grow them up, because you'll begin to challenge them to have a relationship with God so they can contribute to it. So you're not the one just running the bus all day. Because if she's my co-pilot, it's like, we got to be in agreement about this. I can't do this and run this on my own faith. This is our faith project. This is our business. This is our family. This is our whatever, And there's so many things couples disagree about, but you got to get in agreement. And it's the same God, so you can't be afraid that you're going to miss it, because the same God is speaking to us.
I know that there's a lot of questions too, because it's probably somebody thinking, what if the husband or the wife is slowing me down or slowing the project down because they're not hearing from God? Because I know there's been plenty of times where I frustrated you because I'm much slower in moving on certain things than you are, especially when you say you hear something from God. So sometimes you would tell me something the Lord said, and you would say, well, go pray about it. And then it'd be 2-3 days later, you're like, well, have you heard anything from God? I'm like, nah. So that will frustrate you so bad. And I would get frustrated because seeing you frustrated, and I didn't want to frustrate you. So I'll sometimes just go along with stuff.
Well, to answer that question from the perspective of the one who's like in every marriage, you got someone who's like really clean and someone's really dirty. You got someone who's really organized, someone who's unorganized. You got someone who's very creative and someone who's very non-creative. And so in our relationship, I would come off as a super spiritual one, and her as a not so super spiritual one. It would come off that way. But we're actually really different. She's actually very spiritual. But so yeah, I used to get frustrated. But what I've learned is patience and compassion and empathy. And what I had to realize the Lord had to speak to me about was that as long as it's taking me to learn some things that is learned, I've got to be willing to give everybody in the world the same amount of time to learn that thing. And so when it comes to my wife, there are things that I'll mention to her or will share with her. Sometimes not about something for us to do, but just anything. And if she doesn't seem to get it the first time, I can't get frustrated. He's like, Jalen, you didn't get everything I ever tried to get through to you. It took you a bunch of times before you got something I was trying to get through to you. So I'm like, okay, well, I can't be hypocritical about that. I got to give her time. And I've got to trust God enough to know that we're not going to miss anything.
Exactly.
We're tithers, and it says in the Bible that tithers, that your vine will not cast its fruit for its time in the field, which means that you will never be too early or too late for anything that God has for you. So I've got to trust. He hooked us up. He orchestrated this thing. He knows the timing. So I can't be afraid that, if she doesn't get it, I just know how to do that. I'll try to push it and get her to see something, explain it 50 million ways, and it would just frustrate the situation. Would be an argument about something spiritual because I'm trying to push it instead of just letting God speak to her. And understanding that maybe I'm not right about this, or at least not 100% right about it. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe her being slow about being on board is actually going to preserve us from falling on our faces and breaking something, So you can't be so prideful to think that you're right all the time. Well, I heard from God. Look. There's something called submission. Submission protects you because it keeps you from making mistakes because you think you heard something from God and you move too fast. You got to have somebody you're submitted to who can tell you, hold up, no, let me tweak this. You're missing it a little bit. And the moment you think that you got it all by yourself and you can hear from God solo and never be corrected by anybody, it's the moment you're in deception and you will lose. Never follow somebody who can't be submitted unto someone else.
Well, the Bible says a house divided cannot stand. And that's just so true. So if you're divided between each other about something, you're going to fail. You're going to fall. So even for me, there are things that I felt like he should have caught on to or got a revelation about, and because God gave it to me a certain way and I would share with him and he was just like, okay, or he wasn't excited about it or wasn't on board with it. there were plenty of times I would come to him about like, babe, I think we should do stuff this way or do it this way, and you just like, for whatever reason, you didn't get on board. So
I thought I was right all the time, and she was wrong most of the time.
Yeah, he's a smart guy. I get it. My husband is very intelligent. He's very calculative, and he's analytical. Okay, me, I'm more of I feel it in my gut kind of person. Yeah, I do. I take time and I feel it. You know, if it don't feel right, you know, I'm more discerning than he is about you know things. So he's more of an action guy. He will make a plan today. Tomorrow you would have a spreadsheet on how to get this done. I mean, that's how he is. And I love that about him, but it's also very frustrating a lot of times depending on what the scenario is. Because things got to be different for me. Yeah. Got to be right a certain way. But we've learned almost 3 years in how to decipher our language in that perspective. And now that we are on the same page about our finances, about our pursuit in ministry, our pursuit in business, and things like that, things have become so much easier. But we were talking about this on the way home to doing this video about how important this agreement thing is, and how that first year or two of being married, how important it is for you to dial back everything. Yeah,
take it away on this one.
That you were before you got married. Yep. And I know for a lot of people that can be scary, especially if you're a very entrepreneurial, very motivated type of person. It could be scary to think, I'm going to have to dial myself back a little bit to be married. That's why a lot of people aren't married today, because they're afraid of giving of themselves. Now, I've been in business for myself for a very long time, been doing it by myself for a very long time. So I knew that getting married, I was going to have to adjust how I did my business. And that could be a little scary, a little daunting now. Because now I got a husband, I consider him and his opinions, his thoughts about what I've been doing all this time. Like, what do you know about what I've been doing? Blah, 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 blah. But I decided right away, I said, you know what? I'm going to take my business, the business that I believe God gave me. I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it to the side for a minute. I'm going to dial back the attention that I put towards it, and I'm going to put all my attention on being a wife to you, learning you as my husband, learning how you communicate, learning how to talk. And if God truly gave me this business, if God truly gave it to me, then he's going to keep providing for it. He's going to make it work, because it's a very important time, that gestational time of your marriage, where you got to build that foundation between you and your spouse and bring both of your collective, what's what I'm looking for?
Dreams, visions, energy.
Something else I want to say about that. Our collective, I guess your energy together and just kind of figure out your life.
Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. Did you know that we have channel memberships? Channel memberships are a great way for subscribers like you to support what we do with monthly payments that give you access to awesome perks. For example, if you sign up for Tier 1 Vision Bearer, you'll get a cool badge next to your name whenever you leave a comment beneath our videos. You also get access to custom emojis we made just for you, so people can know that you're one of our channel members. If you sign up for Tier 2 Vision Bearer Plus, you'll get a 20% discount on all of our merch, kind of like this hoodie that I'm wearing here and other things that you can find on our merch site, access to exclusive behind the scenes mini vlogs, and a members only chat with us right here on YouTube. The best part is, no matter which tier you choose, you'll get lifetime access to our premium content, like our 6-week course, Overcome the Spirit of Depression, or our long-form cinematic podcast, Death to Pornography. Only our channel members have unlimited access to these special productions. And to say thank you, we'll always give you shout outs by name in our live streams. Consider becoming a channel member today. Click the join button below for more information. Or if you're an iPhone user, click the link in our description. Thank you in advance, and we'll see you next time.